To perform your most deep creative work, you have to be at your best. Some days are harder than others, some times are better than others. What if there were some daily, weekly, and regular habits and practices you could put into place to keep the creative flame lit? What can you do to be your creative best without burning out? I've been a creative professional for over 15 years, and while I'm not perfect, I've developed some habits, rituals, and some processes that I want to share with you so that you can start being in this for the long run and have a happy and successful career. This is part one in a series to help you show up, do your best, and be your best. This one is all about daily habits. Now, we want to focus on daily habits because whenever you can win the day, you can win the week, you can win the month, you can win the year. All right, so the first thing I'm going to stress is to have a morning routine. Now, we want to try to have a morning routine because for most people, the mornings are the one time in the day that you can generally control the time. You have the power to dictate what happens between the time you wake up and the time you start work. And I find it is the one time that I can generally have some quiet time, some time to think, some time to process, to just drink coffee and just be. And let's face it, as much control as we think we have, once 9 o'clock hits or 10 o'clock, whenever you start work, the day can get out of hand really quick once you start getting emails, once you start getting messages on Slack, once you start getting a change, once your computer decides to start, wanting to explode, or you have a curveball thrown at you in a project. The mornings you can generally control. Now, what do I do in the morning? So I wake up, start making some coffee, turn the pot of water on and make some coffee. And after I make some water, I'll generally chug about 2 glasses of water. This really helps flush my mind out, really helps get the body kicked into gear, get the metabolism going. And I'd recommend anybody, as soon as you wake up, drink some water. Then I'll read my Bible. I'll do some journaling. Then after I write or journal for about 15, 20 minutes, I actually go on a long walk. And while I'm doing that, I'll listen to some self-improvement podcast, or I'll listen to something that's going to develop me mentally or spiritually to really just, to habit stack a little bit. And I actually recommend you habit stacking. If you're going to go for a walk, why not listen to a book, or why not listen to a podcast that's going to help you grow in your career or in your personal life. Then after I walk my dog, I come inside and start getting ready for the day. Look, if you find this interesting, subscribe to it, share it with one other person. This is just part one. I plan on doing at least 3 or 4 different ones on how to improve yourself so you can be better in your career as an editor, motion designer, or creative. Again, please subscribe. All right, the second habit is to exercise daily, but at least recommend getting some exercise every single day, whether that's just a simple walk, it could be gardening, it could be a full-on CrossFit workout or whatever that is. Get some exercise, move daily. This will not only help make you stronger and make you healthier, but it also helps your mind as well to get out of creative mode and do something that involves different parts of your brain. Overall, once you start finding a habit of exercising daily, you'll find that other parts of your life will actually start getting better and more healthy as well. So the next one is unplug. Now, this is unplugged from a few things. Unplugged from social media, which is just, it's fine if you know how to use it right, but at times you'll find yourself on there and you're just scrolling for no reason. We don't want to scroll for no reason because that sucks our life out. It drains us and causes all kinds of other emotional things, psychological things that we don't need in our lives all the time. So let's unplug from that. Let's not listen to those voices. Also, we want to unplug from doing work outside of work that is similar to our work. The saying is, if you work with your hands, then rest with your mind. If you work with your mind, rest with your hands. So if you're working with your mind, we need to go do something with our hands, something a little more physical, whether that's gardening or cooking. Make it a daily habit to find something that you can do. Really takes the mind of creating, the mindset of just thinking and higher level thinking, and we want to bring it down a few notches and do something a little bit more robotic, a little bit more second nature, and a little bit more just different, really, to shift your mind from creating to really just stimulating your mind in a different way so that you can take a step back and regroup. All right, so the next thing I do is I read 10 pages a day. I just started getting into this habit again, probably about probably about a month ago, and I'll go in and out, but most days I try to read at least 10 pages a day of some sort of self-improvement book, whether that's professionally, spiritually, whatever, something that helps me be better. You know, you want to try to be 1% better every day, and that's sort of my goal to do that. So read 10 pages a day, and you'll find over time, once you stack that up, some cool things start happening. The last thing I generally do at the end of the day is I prep for the next day. So that's getting out my to-do list, getting out my journal, whatever it is you write on or whatever it is you put in your task. Write down your task for the next day. So whether that's your big 3 tasks that you have to get done the next day, write those down, and any other things that are sort of crowding up your mind. So what this does is that it flushes out anything that's sort of stuck in your mind, because your mind will actually hold on to things and create anxiety. So what you want to do is write this stuff down. You can have it out of your mind onto paper, and you don't have to think about it anymore, and you can sleep a lot easier. I find that doing this a few minutes before bed, just to get it out of my mind, or even at the end of the day, if you want to do it at the end of the day of work, I just do mine before bed, and then I'll dump everything out, put it on paper. That way I can just wake up in the morning and it's already there waiting for me, and I didn't have to think about it overnight, and I'm not sweating the details. All right, last one's not really a habit, but more of a fatherly suggestion, is go to bed at a decent time. You want to try to get as much sleep as possible, 7 to 9 hours for most people. I usually get 7 or 8 hours. So I find myself going to bed between 9 and 10 so I can wake up at 5. Sometimes it's not perfect. Sometimes I'll stay up late and watch a movie with the wife. But I find that going to bed at a decent time, trying to stick to that time, and trying to wake up at a time that you can control helps the rest of the day fall together a lot better. So it's really just, again, going back to that first point, it's really just being able to control your time so that you can be at your best. Again, try your best to stack these habits. So, maybe you can read a book while you're going for a walk, things like that. If you want me to break down any of these things, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to make a video for you, or even just answer them in the comments. And if you want to learn more about growing your career, check out one of these videos. Again, like, subscribe, please share if you found this valuable.